All right, circles day 5. This is introducing a new type of angle that we'll be working with, and it's called an inscribed angle. But before we really get to inscribed angles, I want to talk about the central angle and review it. If you remember, if we have a circle and we draw two radii in this circle, right? If I draw these two radii in, what's created is a central angle. Now, with that central angle, this angle basically eats this arc, right? We don't say eat in mathematics, but we say intercepts that arc, right? So with that in mind, we said earlier that the central angle is equal to the measure of the arc. So if I go ahead and I draw a circle, right? If I draw this circle and I construct two radii in, then I'm going to go ahead and measure this central angle. Okay, so I go ahead and I measure this central angle, right? What you have to understand is if that central angle is 83.2 degrees, the measure of this arc would also be 83.2 degrees. So GeoGebra doesn't allow us to, show that, right, connection. But you have to understand that if this angle is 91.8, the measure in degrees from this point to this point is 91.8 degrees. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide these radii, okay? And when I hide them, right, you could still see the angle measure, but I'm just going to measure something a little differently here in a minute, okay? So when I go and talk about an inscribed angle is basically an angle whose vertex is on the circle, okay? It's on the circle. So if I look, the vertex of this angle here is on the circle, isn't it? The vertex of this angle is on the circle. Therefore, right away, if I look, this is an inscribed angle, this is an inscribed angle, and these inscribed angles intercept this arc and this arc. So how can we use the measure of the arc to find the angle or vice versa? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to GeoGebra and I'm going to construct an inscribed angle. I'm going to go from here to here and then here to here. And if you notice, I put the vertex of that angle on the circle. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to measure, right, that angle. Right there, and right there. Now you notice this angle is 47 or 42.7 degrees. And remember, this arc is equal to this central angle. So you have to understand that this arc is 85.5 degrees. If I move these points, notice here that central angle is 90, which makes the arc 90, which makes this inscribed angle 45 degrees, right? If I move this to, say, 80 degrees, right there. If the central angle is 80, this arc is 80, but that inscribed angle is 40 degrees, right? With that idea, the fact that this is 80, right? This arc is 80, that angle is 40, and then we said this was 90, right? That was 45. What do you notice here? You should notice, right, that the measure of the inscribed angle is equal to half the measure of the arc, okay? So right away, if I go up here, right, these inscribed angles, the inscribed angle is equal to the arc divided by 2, or we could say the arc is equal to 2 times the inscribed angle. So we can either double the inscribed angle to find the arc, or take half the arc to find the inscribed angle. Okay, so let's look at some examples here. So right away here, they want us to find the measure of angle NMP, which is this angle here. Okay, well, if I look at it, the vertex of this angle is on the circle, which makes it inscribed. If the arc is 100, we're basically going to say angle NMP is equal to 100 divided by 2, and angle NMP is 50 degrees. Okay. The next example, they give you the measure of this angle is 105 degrees. They want you to find the measure of this intercepted arc. Well, I'm going to say arc ZWX is equal to 2 times the measure of the inscribed angle, which would be 105. So arc ZWX is equal to 210 degrees. So the next example, it says, find the measure of angle ABC if the measure of arc BDC, right? BDC is 232 degrees. So if I measure, if this arc B to D to C, right, is 232 degrees. They want me to find the measure of this angle here. Well, to find the measure of that angle, I need the measure of this arc here. Well, think about it. Can I find that arc? Well, this green arc, what do the blue and the green arc have to add up to? 360 degrees. So all I'm going to do is take 360, subtract 232. Okay, and when I take 360, right, I subtract 232, I get 128 degrees. So this arc is 128 degrees. Well, now when I look, that inscribed angle, angle ABC, it eats an arc that has a measure of 128 degrees. So 128 divided by 2 would give me 64 degrees. So this angle would be 64 degrees. Okay. The next one, they want us to find the measure of arc ABC. So they want the measure of this arc here. Well, think about it. I'm going to have to do multiple steps here. Okay. So when I look at this inscribed angle, right, I have this inscribed angle here that's 46 degrees. I could use that to find the measure of this arc here. Okay, because 2 times 46 would give me, this arc is 92 degrees. Now that I know that arc, what does this arc and the highlighted blue arc have to add up to? All right, 360. So all I'm going to do is say that arc ABC is equal to 360 minus 92, and 360 minus 92 will give me arc ABC is equal to 268 degrees. Okay. The next one, right? If I look, this angle they give me, they want me to find X, and X is a central angle. And you have to remember, this angle is equal to this arc. How can I find that arc then? Well, if I look at this inscribed angle, right? If that inscribed angle is 30 degrees, 2 times 30 would give me that arc is 60 degrees. So if that arc is 60 degrees, that tells me x is equal to 60 degrees. Okay? All right, and the next one. Use a diagram to find the missing measures. So arc FG. If I highlight that arc, FG, I'm going to trace the lines down that make up that angle, that make up that arc or intercept it, right? If this inscribed angle is 50 degrees, that means 2 times 50 is 100 degrees. So this would be 100 degrees. Now angle FEG, that's this angle here. If I trace these lines down, I see that it intercepts the same arc. So remember, the angle is half the arc. So if that arc is 100 degrees, I'm going to divide it by 2 to get that angle is 50 degrees. Now, arc EH, right? I'm looking for this arc here. How could I find that arc? Well, I could trace a couple of different angles down, or lines down here. If I trace like this line and this line, I don't know the measure of this angle. But what I do know is the measure of this angle. So if I look, does this inscribed angle eat that intercepted arc? It does. So remember, to find the arc, I double the angle. 2 times 30 would give me 60 degrees. And now if I look EFH, this angle here, right? If this arc is 60 degrees, that angle would be 60 divided by 2, which is 30 degrees. Now I have to find angle FGE, this angle here. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. And let's go red. So if I'm looking for this angle here, I notice it goes down that and that. Okay? So in order to find that angle, I need the measure of this arc. Well, right now I can't see it, but if I look, right, this angle here intercepts that arc. So this would be 2 times 50, which is 100. Remember, if that arc is 100, the angle is going to be half of that, which is 50 degrees. Okay? Now the last one says, find the value of x. These are tough, but not impossible. If I look to find x, I know that it's in this inscribed angle. And that inscribed angle eats this arc. So I have to look and determine, can I find the measure of that arc? Well, what do all three of these arcs have to add up to? 360. So 360 minus 82 minus 74. So 360 minus 82 minus 74 will give me 204 degrees. Now remember, if this arc is 204 degrees, this angle is half of it. So angle PFE is equal to 204 divided by 2, which is 102. So if that angle is 102 degrees, I know 101x plus 1 is equal to 102. And now if I subtract 1, 101x equals 101. When I divide by 101, x is equal to 1. Okay, and we are done. So, marking the diagram and using colors will help you tremendously with this section. So please make sure you try and draw the diagrams or print out so you can actually sketch what you have. Okay. Please let me know if you have any questions, and looking forward to hearing from you.